Hello, readers. Welcome back to the She Reads Romance Books podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Murphy. I am a romance book lover who helps you find the best romance books worth reading. And I am jumping right into today's episode because a new month is just around the corner, which means it is time to check out all of the most anticipated new romance book releases dropping this November 2025. So this coming November is going to give us a little bit of everything, no matter what romance trope or category of romance you love best. So get ready to dive into new holiday romance books, a new romantasy, and new romance books in some of your favorite tropes. Don't forget, before we jump into these, to keep track of each and every one of them in your romance book reading journal, the only reading journal created exclusively for romance book lovers. You can find your own copy, whether it's printable, paperback, or hardcover, in the link in the show notes or on my bio. And for even more must-read new romance books, check out my list of most anticipated new romance books of 2025, or my upcoming releases page on shereadsromancebooks.com. I keep that updated all of the time so you know what is coming each and every month and even into 2026. But before we get to my top 10 new romance book releases for November, let me tell you about another book that deserves a spot on your TBR list. Ever had a landlord who drove you nuts? Jessie Thorne takes it to a new level. Rules, rules, and more rules. Casey Lawson, she breaks every single one. Add in wind chimes, wreaths, and a grumpy firefighter who looks way too good holding a ladder, and you've got My Favorite Hero by Melanie Moreland. A rom-com full of laughter, heat, and rules just waiting to be broken. Check it out on Amazon. It is available now. Now, kicking us off on November 1st is my first most anticipated new romance book release of November 2025, and that is Elfish by L.B. Dunbar. This is her upcoming holiday romance, and here's what it's about. After Scrooge has his revelatory night, ever wonder if he continues to turn over a new holly leaf or if he goes back to his miserly ways? I've been thinking about this question ever since a gorgeous red-headed angel saved me from a heart attack with a kiss and a whispered plea. Of course, I am uncertain whether any of it really happened. The redhead, the kiss, the whisper. Maybe it was all a dream, a visionary warning to change my life before it was too late. As the millionaire CEO of a major department store in downtown Chicago, believing the holidays are about ribbons and bows, packages, boxes, and bags, and comes from a store has been my upbringing. However, I've decided to heed this cautionary tale in search of that something more in the season. Only I don't know exactly how to move from selfish to elfish. When that glorious redhead visits me in the hospital, a plan starts to form. I accept her request for a date to her younger brother's holiday wedding, setting off a string of unexpected events and emotions. She becomes my reason for the fa-la-la season, and maybe perhaps she'll see I'm a little bit more than a Grinch in a penthouse, but an elf longing to be taken down from the shelf. Now, that is a super cute summary. I love how you tie in all the highlights from the holidays, LB. If you have loved her holiday rom-coms in this series, like I have been, I am super excited to see what she has releasing this year with Elfish. I am particularly fond of holiday romances where a character who, typically is a holiday humbug turns him or herself around and finds the holiday spirit with the help of a certain someone that they fall in love with. And Elfish sounds to be exactly like one of those. Also like holiday romances where there's always like a fake dating issue because they want to bring somebody home for the holidays because they're tired of their family saying, oh, you need to be finally dating someone. In this case, it's a wedding. It sounds really adorable, and I'm excited to add it to my TBR list for this holiday season. So if you're looking for a new holiday romance, check out Elfish by L.B. Dunbar. Next up on my list, which I'm sure is on many of yours as well, is Blackthorn by J.T. Geisinger. It is her new gothic romance releasing on November 4th. And here is what it's about. You never forget your first love, especially when he's also your worst nightmare. 12 years ago, Maven Blackthorn fled her small hometown, leaving behind the wreckage of her mother's suspicious death. But now, drawn back for her grandmother's funeral, Maven steps onto Blackthorn soil once more, only to find herself thrust into a fresh nightmare. Her grandmother's body has vanished. The Blackthorns immediately suspect the Crofts, the ruthless titans of Croft Pharmaceuticals, whose bitter blood feud with the Blackthorns has spanned generations. But when Maven comes face to face with Ronan Croft, the son of her mother's suspected killer and the only man she ever loved, she discovers the forbidden passion they once shared is as alive and dangerous as ever. As long-buried family secrets claw their way to the surface, betrayal lurks behind every whisper and old vendettas ignite anew. The deeper Maven digs for answers, the more treacherous the game becomes. And the one man she can never seem to escape is hiding a truth that could burn their whole world down. In a town where the dead won't stay buried, is love salvation or the deadliest game of all? So, in my opinion, nobody writes captivating romances with the best plot twist than J.T. Geisinger. And when she announced this new gothic romance, I was all in. And given that it's an enemies to lover romance, sort of second chance, not really, with her, signature snarky, strong heroine, I think her fans are totally going to eat it up. I know I certainly did. I've read it. I loved it. Maven was such a hoot, and Ronan was really intriguing and, hot as heck. I loved it. I cannot wait to talk with JT more about this book. She's going to be joining me on the podcast here later in November, so stay tuned to that episode where we're going to talk all things Blackthorn, plot twist, you name it. It's going to be awesome. But in the meantime, this book comes out November 4th, so grab it ASAP. All right, next up on my list of most anticipated romance books for November is Thrown for a Loop by Serena Bowen. This is her new sports romance, and I think it's also releasing November 4th, if I didn't say that already. Here is what it's about. Zoe Carson, former figure skating queen, needs a fresh start as a hockey skating coach. An NHL gig with the New York Legends is her big chance. Unfortunately, that means facing off against the star player who broke her heart 10 years ago. Chase Merritt knows his game is off and he's on the verge of losing sponsors. But he doesn't need the ice princess from that intense college summer showing up and telling him what he's doing wrong, even when she's right. On the ice, they're magic. Off the ice, they're nothing but heat and stubbornness, and everyone on the team is enjoying the show. But when an old video of Zoe and Chase's figure skating routine goes viral, they're forced to work together more intimately than ever before. Can the two get it right this time, or will the whole world watch them crash and burn? Now, Serena Bowen has written so many of my favorite hockey romance books. So honestly, if she's writing a new one, it's absolutely going on my TBR list. I love that Thrown for a Loop features not only a hockey player, but a former figure skater. So two people who are, magic on the ice. This is also a great second chance romance where Chase surprised me with his own skill in figure skating. I thought that was a really neat point of this story. It was such an enjoyable read, so if you are a fan of Serena's, it deserves a spot on your TBR list as well. You can check out my book review on shereadsromancebooks.com. All right, coming up also on November 4th is a new romance book release from Laura Pavlov, and it is called Love You, Mean It. It is a forced proximity romance, and here's what it's about. My new landlord's a real hard ass, and I can't keep my hands off him. Charlie Huxley's the best and grumpiest general contractor in Blushing, Alaska. He built the venue for the wedding planning business my bestie and I share. After I accidentally flood my home, he offers me his guest house while he handles the repairs. But when he starts to take charge, I feel myself losing control. Unable to resist, we casually hook up. We both know once will never be enough. Between us, we carry plenty of baggage. I've got the absent father, drunk mother, and estranged sister. He grew up in foster care and is single-handedly raising a daughter whose mom visits just once a year. But Charlie makes me feel like I belong, and for the first time ever, I picture myself with a real family. Before I go all in, I need to learn to set some boundaries. Question is, am I strong enough? After reading, this book summary, I came to a realization that every romance book that I recall reading that is set in Alaska has become a true favorite of mine. I don't know what it is about that setting, but I have loved every single one of them. And honestly, now I see a new book list developing in my future about books just set in Alaska, so stay tuned for that. But here's hoping that this one from Laura Pavlov will be a hit as well, but I have no doubt it will because she crafts honestly the best small town romances. I love how these are two characters who did not have the best childhoods and are hopefully going to find love with one another. I love that it includes the grumpy sunshine trope because it's a favorite. So many great things for Laura's latest. So that is why it made my TBR list for November. All right, another new release also coming out November 4th is Keep Me Never by Megan Brandy. This is her new college romance, and here's what it's about. On the outside, it looks like I've got it all together. I'm rocking it on the football field, pushing harder than ever before and breaking league records. But on the inside, I'm a mess. The pressure of the game too much, the betrayal from someone I trusted weighing me down with every breath. I'm drowning and there's no one to pull me up until her. I tried to stay away to keep my distance so I wouldn't ruin us both, but I was powerless against her. She's everything I didn't know I wanted and more than I could ever deserve. That right there is how I knew I couldn't keep her, but that didn't stop me from falling in love with her. And just when I think maybe I'm becoming the man I want to be, my world comes crashing down around me, and I'm faced with a choice that has the power to break us both. Suddenly, I'm right back where I started. I'm the guy with nothing to give, and she's the girl who deserves the world. So, if you didn't know this about me already, I am a total sucker for a romance book with a tortured hero, as I like to call them. Somebody totally wrestling with something profound, in their lives, yada, yada, yada. And while I'm not sure what is weighing down the hero in this story, Megan always finds a way to make my heart hurt in the best of ways with her new adult romances. So I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to it. Excited to see what she brings with this new release. All right, moving on from November 4th, the following week on November 11th is my next most anticipated new romance book release, and that is Freeing the Wild by Paisley Hope. This is her new cowboy romance, yay! And here is what it's about. Rising country star Cassie Spencer's music career is just taking off when tragedy strikes mid-tour. Seeking solace, she retreats to rural Kentucky to escape the spotlight and visit her family. Hayden Westbrook, the charming heartthrob of Laurel Creek, only wants one thing, a peaceful life tending to the Silver Pines Ranch and his rescue horses. But when free-spirited Cassie hurricanes back into town, his world turns upside down, especially since the last time he saw her ended with a steamy night in his truck. They'd promised then it would be a one-time thing, but now as Cassie and Hayden spend more time together, their undeniable chemistry reignites. Cassie's stay at Silver Pines was meant to be temporary, but as their spring fling turns into something deeper, can Hayden convince her to stay? Now, I have all of Paisley Hope's cowboy romances on my bookshelf, ready for me to read and dive into, so I'm adding this new release to the group for me to binge read very, very soon. I am continuing my kick of cowboy romance books this year, and this one just sounds super cute with a country music star and horse rancher. It kind of reminds me of Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, which I loved, so I'm all for more of a book with that similar storyline. So looking forward to Freeing the Wild, which is going to release on November 11th. Okay, next up, also releasing November 11th, is Honeymoon Phase by Amy Dawes, her new Friends to Lovers romance. And here's what it's about. When Addison or Monroe tells me she's going on a husband hunt at the local lumberjack competition so she can inherit her father's lumber yard, desperate times call for desperate measures. She's sworn off romance, says she's been through enough tragedy, so I offer myself as an alternative, because that's what best friends are for. But my stubborn friend, who would rather drive a forklift than get her nails done, refuses to accept my help, and now I find myself training to become a lumberjack. I refuse to let Ro hitch her wagon to some hulky axe wielder who might be a crazy person. She means too much to me, and I swear there are moments where she looks at me like I mean something more to her too. On the surface, I'm offering a marriage of convenience to protect her, but the truth is I'm hopelessly in love with my best friend. So if I have to marry her and move her up to Fletcher Mountain just to see if she could love me back, so be it, because my only regret would be losing her forever, and that's a fact. Oh my gosh, that sounds so freaking adorable. Gosh, Friends to Lovers, where one friend has secretly been pining forever. Maybe they both have. We will find out. I'm so excited to continue Amy's Mountain Men Matchmaker series, where we finally get Luke's story. I love that it's a marriage of convenience, Friends to Lovers romance, because I love those two tropes so much. And seeing Luke trying to be a lumberjack honestly has too many opportunities for Amy's humor to shine through in this new romance. So I can't wait to dive into it. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to read it on Kindle Unlimited like most of her books, which is super exciting. So check it out on November 11th. All right, I've got a few more for the month to look forward to. Next up is Daddy Issues by Kate Goldbeck. This is a Neighbors to Lovers romance releasing on November 18th. And here is what it's about. At 26, Sam Pulaski expected to be thriving in her academic career, living on her own in some exciting city. Expectations meet reality. She has massive student loan debt from studying art history, a dead-end service industry job, a situationship that's equal parts intoxicating and toxic. And she's been crashing in her mom's condo, at least it's not a basement, for the last 5 years. If she can finally get accepted into a PhD program and get out of Ohio, the adult life that's been on hold for half her 20s will finally begin. Her mom's new neighbor, Nick, is the ultimate grown-up. His adult life began the moment his 9-year-old daughter, Kira, was born. Her happiness is Nick's only priority, especially in the wake of divorce. There's nothing he won't do for Kira, including giving up his globe-trotting career for something more stable, like managing a chain restaurant. Sam has zero interest in an ultra-dependable guy pushing 40. Frankly, she's a little afraid of kids. But with just one thin wall separating the two condos, Nick proves difficult to avoid. His quiet confidence forces Sam to grapple with the other men in her life, her emotionally derelict friend with benefits, and her actual derelict father. As her unexpected connection with Nick heats up and steams up his minivan windows, Sam finds herself falling fast for a man whose life is steady and settled, while hers is anything but. So I'm really excited about this book, and I'm hopping back on NetGalley to see if I can get a copy. This is going to be my first Kate Goldbeck novel because I'm just really compelled by the book summary. I like that Sam seems to be going through a late quarter life crisis while falling for an older single dad. And the fact that Nick, I don't know what it is, but the fact that he manages a chain restaurant makes him just sound kind of like normal and boring. And yet, I don't know, I'm kind of already loving that about him. So here is hoping that Daddy Issues is a keeper this fall. Okay, 2 more books. So get ready to add these to your TBR list. The first being And Then There Was You by Sophie Cousins, her new contemporary that is releasing on November 18th. Here's what it's about. Stuck in a production assistant job and living at home with her parents after a painful breakup, 31-year-old Chloe Fairway isn't where she wants to be in life. The last thing she needs is to face the people who once voted her most likely to succeed at her upcoming 10-year college reunion. And she definitely doesn't want to see her former best friend, Sean Adler, who is now a hotshot film director, living the life Chloe dreamed of. Desperate to make a splash and to save face in front of the man who might be the one that got away, she turns to a mysterious dating service. Enter Rob, her handsome, well-read, and charming match, the perfect +1 to take to her reunion. The more she gets to know him, the more perfect he appears to be. Could it be that this dating service knows her better than she knows herself? And can she overlook the one big catch? As Chloe reconnects with old friends, she begins to question everything she thought she wanted. Maybe, just maybe, revisiting the past is exactly what she needs to move forward. Now, I really enjoy the characterizations in Sophie's romance books, so I'm really intrigued to meet Chloe and the 2 men that find themselves in her life at the time of her college reunion, I think it was, yeah. Reunions can be so much, I don't know, fun or the absolute worst, and so I'm kind of excited to see where Chloe's reunion falls in this new romance. So check it out with me. Let me know what you think. And here's hoping it's a good one. Okay, last book on my list, but absolutely not least, I'm so excited for Brimstone by Kelly Hart, her new romantasy releasing November 18th, which cannot come soon enough. Here is what it's about. Sarah Fane doesn't want power. The very last thing she needs is her name whispered on an entire court's lips. But now that she's been crowned a queen of the blood court, she's discovering that a queen's life is not her own. A heavy weight rests upon her shoulders. Her ward and her brother need her back in her homeland, but the changes that have strengthened Sarah have also made her weak. Born under blazing suns, Sarah will surely die if she makes her way home through the Quicksilver, which means that once again she must send someone else in her stead. Keep your mouth shut, stick to the shadows, and for the love of all 7 gods, do not crack any jokes. Kingfisher of the Aegean Gate has defeated armies and survived all manner of horrors, but traveling back to Zilvarin with Carrion Swift might just be the death of him. The male just will not shut up. Hidden dangers await them down the narrow alleyways of the Silver City. Unfolding secrets pose impossible threats. Fisher must wrangle the smuggler and accomplish his goals quickly if he wants to see his mate again. I am so excited to continue this romantasy series, which left readers on a cliffhanger after reading Quicksilver from last year. I honestly loved listening to the audiobook of Quicksilver. It was in duet narration, so I'm probably going to dive into the audiobook for Brimstone as well, hoping that it is in duet narration as well. I don't see why it would change, because I really need more Kingfisher in my life, and the fact that Carrion is going to play a big role in this one just makes me so happy, because he is hilarious, and I loved him as a character in Quicksilver. So if you have not read Quicksilver, I highly recommend you do that and then dive into Brimstone when it releases on November 18th. And that wraps up my top 10 most anticipated new romance books for November 2025. Sorry, not sorry for adding more amazing books to your TBR list. I hope you are excited about each one of them as much as I am. You can join my email list, which I'm now on Substack, so that you can hear all about my book ratings when I get to them. I share them exclusively now on my email list. Or if I write a full book review on shereadsromancebooks.com. But either way, definitely join my list so you can stay in the know. Thanks again for tuning in. I can't wait till next time. But in the meantime, happy reading, because life is better with a love story.